My brother pointed at our mother's piano and said, "Mara promised it to me." Before I could answer, my sister said, "No, Mara told me it had to be sold." I had made neither promise. All three looked at me, waiting for a decision apparently made twice. "What exact words did you hear?" I asked. Owen leaned back. "You know what you said." "I know what I said. I'm asking what you heard." Celia set down her fork. "Why are you talking like this is a hearing?" I looked at the white label on the table. My name was written across the top in my mother's round blue handwriting. Beneath it was one word: piano. I peeled the label off the sheet, crossed out my name, and put it back between them. "The piano belongs to Mom," I said. "Leave the name blank until she tells us what she wants." My mother Ellen stopped folding her napkin. "Mara," she said softly, "I only told Owen that you thought he should have it because I didn't want him worrying." That was the first answer. It arrived less than 3 minutes after the two promises collided, and for one foolish second, I thought we had found the whole problem. Then Celia said, "Is that what you did with the albums too?" My mother looked at her. Celia looked at me. And I understood that we were not arguing about a piano. We were sitting inside a family habit that had learned to use my name when nobody wanted to use their own. Mom was 76 and moving by choice from the little rental house where she and my father had spent the last 12 years. Her new apartment had one bedroom, wide windows, and just enough wall space for the framed things she truly liked. She had signed the lease herself. She had measured every room twice. There was no emergency and no question about who owned the furniture. The trouble was that objects become louder when a family knows they are about to be separated. For 3 weeks, Mom had been putting colored labels on everything. Green meant she was keeping it. Yellow meant someone had asked for it. White meant she had not decided. She had invited Owen, Celia, and me for supper because, as she put it, we can settle the last few things in one calm evening. I had believed her because calm evenings were what I supplied. I was the middle child. Owen was 3 years older and had always moved through a room as if his answer was waiting somewhere inside it. Celia was 4 years younger and remembered every birthday, every recipe, and every careless sentence anyone had ever spoken near a birthday or a recipe. I was the one who translated, and I had mistaken that job for my place in the family. After our father died 9 years earlier, the calls increased. Mom would phone me and say, "Your brother sounded sharp. What do you think he meant?" Owen would call and say, "Tell Mom I can't come Sunday, but don't make it sound like I don't want to." Celia would send 6 paragraphs and finish with, "Can you explain this to them in a way they won't twist?" Usually I did. I changed, "I can't keep fixing her gutters every time she sees a leaf," into, "Owen has a full weekend, but he can check the downspout Tuesday." I changed, "Celia turns every holiday into an exam," into, "Mom needs a little flexibility this year." I changed, "Your brother hasn't called in 2 weeks," into, "Mom would love to hear your voice." The edited versions were kinder. They were also easier. Nobody had to say what they meant. My husband Daniel noticed before I did. One Tuesday, he came into our kitchen while I was holding my phone between my shoulder and ear, stirring soup with one hand and rewriting Owen's apology with the other. When I hung up, Daniel asked, "Did Owen ask you something, or did he ask you to tell somebody something?" "Both." "Those aren't the same job," I had laughed then. "This family would not survive the unedited edition." Daniel tasted the soup. "Maybe they would get better at writing." I thought he was being clever. What I did not understand was that every message I softened became a little proof that the rest of them did not need to learn. And every time peace followed, I felt rewarded. My father had been the easy center of our family. He could tell Owen no without making Owen feel small. He could let Celia tell a story for 12 minutes and still remember the question she had begun with. When he died, the empty space he left did not feel empty for long. I stepped into it, carrying a phone. At first, that felt like love. People called me. People needed me. If Sunday dinner was peaceful, I knew which sharp corners I had sanded down before anyone arrived. I called that preserving the family. I did not ask what it was doing to mine. Back at the sorting supper, Celia stood and walked toward the hall, where 6 boxes of photographs were stacked beneath Dad's old coat hooks. "You told me Mara agreed the album should stay together," she said to Mom. Mom glanced at me. It was the smallest glance, practiced and almost invisible. It said, "Help me explain." My body knew the assignment before my mind refused it. I was already forming the sentence. Mom isn't saying you can't have them. She's saying the timing is hard. She wants to feel close to the pictures through the move. The sentence was ready. I could feel how smoothly it would land. I let it go unsaid. "Ask Mom what she wants," I told Celia. "I just did." "You asked what she told you I wanted." Celia's mouth tightened. "Fine. Mom, what do you want?" Mom looked down at her plate. "I want the albums with me until I get settled." "All 6 boxes?" "For now." "Then what?" Mom pressed her fingertips together. "Then I thought we could go through them. You can copy the ones you want. Owen can. Mara can." Owen gave a short laugh. "I don't want 6 boxes of pictures." "Then you don't have to copy them," Celia said. "I didn't say anybody had to do anything," Mom replied, and I heard irritation enter her voice. It was not graceful. It was also hers. Celia looked at me again. "Is that what she meant when she talked to you?" I felt the old answer rise. "Yes, mostly." "She is overwhelmed. Give her a month." "I don't know everything Mom means," I said. Celia stared at me as if I had denied knowing my own address. "Since when?" "Since always. I just used to answer anyway." Mom pushed her chair back half an inch. Owen said, "Can we stop making this philosophical? Mom wants the pictures. Celia wants the pictures. They can copy the pictures. Great. Now can we talk about the piano?" The piano sat against the living room wall, visible through the wide doorway. It was an upright with a dull walnut finish and a bench whose hinge pinched your fingers if you lifted it too quickly. Dad had bought it used when Celia was 8. All 3 of us had taken lessons. None of us had become good. Owen had a keyboard at his house and could still play a handful of songs. That was more than Celia or I could say. 2 months earlier, when Mom first mentioned the move, I had said, "It would be nice if the piano stayed in the family." That sentence was true. It was also not a promise, a transfer, a vote, or a decision. Owen pointed toward the doorway. "You said it should stay with family. I'm the only one who plays. What else was that supposed to mean?" "It meant I liked the idea of it staying in the family." "With who?" "I didn't decide with who." "That's convenient," Mom said. "Owen?" He turned toward her. "You told me Mara thought I should take it." "I said she wanted it to stay in the family." "You said she thought I should have it." Mom's face changed. She was hearing the difference because nobody had covered it quickly enough. "I may have said that," she admitted. Owen looked at me. "And you let me arrange space." "I didn't know you were arranging space." "I sold the bookcase in the den." That was new. Celia folded her arms. "You sold furniture before Mom decided?" "I sold my furniture in my house." "Because you assumed you'd get hers?" "Because Mara told Mom." "Stop," I said. The word came out louder than I intended. Everyone went quiet. "Don't begin another sentence with my name unless you're telling them what I actually said." Owen stared at me. I knew what he wanted. He wanted me to widen my old sentence until it covered his choice. He wanted, "It would be nice if the piano stayed in the family," to become, Owen should sell his bookcase because the piano is coming. That widening was exactly the work I had done for years. I looked at the white labels spread across the table. Piano, albums, blue dishes, dad's tools, hall mirror. My hand moved toward them before I had decided to move it. What if, I began, we make a list of first choices and then rotate? I heard myself. Owen was already nodding. Celia was pulling her chair closer. Mom's shoulders had begun to drop. The relief on their faces showed me exactly what the plan would do. One more fair arrangement with my name beneath it. If the result hurt anyone, they would remember that Mara designed it. I put the pen down. No, I said, that's not my decision either. Celia's eyes flashed. Then what are you doing here? The question hurt because I had no practiced answer. I had come to help Mom, but in our family, help had become a room with no walls. If I entered it at all, I was expected to stand everywhere. I'm here to have supper, I said. I'm here to carry boxes Mom asks me to carry. I'm here to say what I want if she asks me. I'm not here to decide who gets her things. That's abandoning her with the hard part, Celia said. I'm sitting right here. You know what I mean. No, I said. I know what you said. Celia flinched. I almost apologized for the sharpness. Then I saw Mom watching us with frightened attention, as if our unedited words might break the windows. I softened my voice, but not the meaning. I'm not leaving, I told Celia. I'm not speaking for Mom. The difference settled over the table. Celia turned to our mother. I want the albums because I am afraid they'll get split up and disappear, she said. Not because Mara told me to want them. I want them. Mom nodded slowly. I want them with me for the first month, she said, because the apartment will be strange and I want familiar faces around me while I decide where things go. Could I come over the second Saturday and start scanning? Not the first, not the first. Mom thought about it. The second Saturday, she said. It was not a warm exchange. Celia looked wounded that Mom wanted the pictures more than she expected. Mom looked tired by the effort of saying so. But they had reached an actual agreement without me changing either sentence. Owen tapped the table. Wonderful, he said. Now the piano. Mom picked up her water glass but did not drink. I haven't decided, she said. Owen laughed once. You decided enough to tell me Mara wanted me to have it? I did not say I had decided. That's what a normal person would hear. A normal person might ask me, Mom said. That surprised all of us, including her. Owen's jaw tightened. I did ask you. You asked whether it would fit through your den door. Because you said Mara thought I should take it. There was my name again, offered like a witness who had already sworn an oath. Owen looked at me. Tell her. You said it should stay with family. I did. And I'm the one who plays. You are. So tell her. Tell her what? That it makes sense. It makes sense that you would ask. That is all I can say. He pushed his plate away. You were ready to make a rotation 5 minutes ago. I was. Then I realized I was doing it again. Doing what? Helping? Making a decision so everybody can be angry with me instead of honest with each other. Mom said my name in warning. Mom, that's what happened tonight. You didn't want to disappoint Owen, so you put my opinion in front of your answer. You didn't want to tell Celia you wanted the album, so you said I thought they should stay together. I was trying to be kind. I know. Then why are you making me sound dishonest? I'm describing what happened. In the least forgiving way possible. Her voice shook. Mine wanted to shake with it. For years I had believed compassion meant supplying the sentence that let somebody step away from what they had done. The sentence was always nearby. Mom is under pressure. Owen is proud. Celia cares too much. None of them meant it exactly that way. All of those things could be true. The other truth still needed a chair. "You use my name because my name felt safer than no," I said. Mom looked toward the living room. Owen said, "This is unbelievable." Celia did not speak. The supper had gone cold. Butter had hardened on the bread plate. The labels had curled slightly at the corners where steam from the serving bowls had dampened them. Owen stood and walked into the living room. He lifted the piano lid, touched one key, and closed it again. "I sold the bookcase for $180, he said without turning around. "I was going to sell my keyboard, too." Mom stared at his back. "Why would you sell the keyboard?" "Because I don't need both." "You don't have both." "Thank you, Mom." He returned to the dining room but stayed standing. "The shop hasn't been doing well," he said. Owen repaired small engines from a rented bay on the edge of town. He had started the business 18 months earlier after leaving a parts counter job he hated. He had told all of us it was going well. He had brought Mom flowers with the business card tucked under the ribbon. He had once corrected Celia when she called it the garage. "How badly?" I asked. He looked at me. "Don't." "Don't what?" "Turn this into one of your interviews." I almost answered for my question. I almost explained that I was not judging him, that I cared, that I only wanted context. Instead, I waited. Mom asked, "Are you behind?" He looked at her. "On the bay," he said, "and on 2 supplier accounts. The piano wouldn't fix it, I know that. But if I sold the keyboard and didn't have to buy another one later..." His sentence faded. The piano was not a rescue. It was proof he could still receive something from the family without asking for the thing he actually needed, which was for us to know he was frightened. Mom pressed both hands against the table. "I didn't know," she said. "I didn't want everybody knowing." "You wanted the piano." "I wanted you to mean it when you said I could have it." Mom breathed in slowly. "I am not ready to give it away," she said. Owen stared at her. She continued before anyone could help. "I don't know if it fits in the apartment. I don't know if I will play it. I may sell it. I may give it to you later. But I have not decided, and I should not have made Mara sound like she had." There was the answer. It was clear, owned, and painful. Owen turned to me. "Are you happy now?" I felt the old machinery move into place. Mom had said no. Owen hurt. The hurt needed somewhere to go, and there I was. "No," I said. "You got what you wanted." I did not want this answer. I wanted it to be hers. Same result. Not the same responsibility. He shook his head. "There it is. Mara gets to conduct the whole evening and then claims she didn't decide anything." Celia said, "She's right about one thing." I turned toward her too quickly, grateful for an ally. But Celia was not offering rescue. "We all do it," she said. "I ask Mara what Mom means because I don't want to ask Mom and hear that she means exactly what I don't like." Mom winced. Celia looked at her. "That is not an attack. It is the truth." Owen sat down again. "Fine," he said. "Then let's vote. Mom doesn't know. 3 children, 1 piano. Majority decides whether it stays in the family. Mara can write down the votes since she brought the labels." "I did not bring them," I said. Mom pushed the sheet toward me. "But you are the fair one," she said. "You always have been." It sounded like praise. For most of my life, I had accepted it as praise. Fair meant I remembered who had traveled last Thanksgiving. Fair meant I knew Owen had helped Mom with the gutters and Celia had taken her to the dentist. Fair meant I kept a private ledger of effort and hurt, then spent my own time making the balance look less frightening. Fair also meant that if someone left unhappy, they could say Mara had counted wrong. I looked at my mother. She was not cruel. She was scared and tired and surrounded by a house that had become a list of endings. Owen was not greedy. He was ashamed of needing help. Celia was not grasping. She was frightened that memory could be divided until nobody held the whole of it. Understanding them did not require me to disappear inside their reasons. I slid the labels back to Mom. I helped build this habit, I said. Nobody moved. I took messages you should have delivered yourselves. I changed words because I wanted the room calm. Sometimes I made things easier. Sometimes I made it possible for all of us to avoid each other. Owen looked away. I am sorry for my part, I continued, but I am not taking a vote. I am not making a list of who deserves what. I am not telling Mom what you mean, and I am not telling either of you what Mom means. Mom whispered, Then how are we supposed to finish? Maybe we don't finish tonight. The movers come in 11 days. Then you can decide in 11 days, or after the move, or ask each of us what we want and answer us separately. They're your things. That will cause 3 different arguments. Maybe. But they will be the right arguments. Celia let out a breath. Owen said, You are walking away. No, I will carry boxes. I will eat supper. I will answer for myself. I will not carry words from one adult to another. That's a slogan, Mara. It is a limit. Mom's eyes filled. I can't do all this alone. I moved my chair closer to her. You are not alone. It feels like it. I know. I wanted to promise that feeling would pass. I wanted to tell her Owen would understand, Celia would calm down, and the move would still be good. Those were the bright little bridges I always built before anyone had chosen to cross. I kept my hands in my lap. I can stay while you say what you want, I said. I cannot say it for you. The room stayed quiet long enough for the refrigerator motor to click off. Then Mom reached for the open box beside her chair. She put the sheet of labels inside, folded one cardboard flap over the other, and pressed them flat. We are done for tonight, she said. It was the first decision of the evening that nobody could attach to me. Owen left first. He did not slam the door. That almost made it worse. He put on his jacket, said, Call me when somebody knows what is happening, and walked out. Celia gathered the plates. Leave them, Mom said. I'm helping. I said leave them. Celia set the stack down harder than necessary. Then she kissed Mom's cheek and left without looking at me. I stayed. That mattered to me. I did not want my refusal to become a punishment performed through absence. I cleared the table because Mom asked me to clear it. I wrapped the bread. I put the untouched green beans in a container. I did not reopen the box of labels. Mom stood at the sink with her back to me. You embarrassed me, she said. I know. You could have told me privately. I did not know privately. You knew I depended on you. I dried one plate and set it in the cabinet. I knew you called me, I said. I did not understand that my name was being used after the calls ended. She turned around. Used? That sounds ugly. It felt ugly tonight. Her face tightened. I could have made the sentence gentler. I did not make it harsher. I love you, I said. I will be here Saturday if you still want help packing the kitchen. I don't know. All right. That answer frightened me more than anger would have. I drove home with no plan for fixing it. Daniel was reading on the sofa when I came in. He put down his book when he saw my face. How much came home with you? He asked. Nothing. Not even the blue dishes? Not one dish, not one decision. I told him what had happened. Halfway through, my phone vibrated. Celia's name appeared. Her message said, What did Mom really mean about waiting a month on the albums? I held the phone toward Daniel. He read it and handed it back. What will you say? My fingers hovered over the screen. I typed, I don't know, you should ask her. It looked cold. I added, I can stay on the phone while you call if you want. Then I deleted the second sentence. Celia did not need me as an audience to prove she could make a call. I sent only the first answer. She replied almost immediately, You were sitting there. I wrote, Yes. Mom told you what she wants. If you need more, ask her. There was no answer for 40 minutes. Then Celia sent, "I called. Second Saturday is still fine." I looked at Daniel. "She called." He smiled, but not as if we had won anything. "How do you feel?" "Unemployed." That made him laugh. It made me laugh too, and then I cried hard enough that he moved the tissue box between us without speaking. Owen's message arrived the next morning. It was 4 screens long. He said I had turned Mom's move into a trial. He said I had always needed to be the reasonable one. He said I had made him admit private business in front of Celia and then hidden behind the phrase, "your decision." Some of it was unfair. Some of it was not. I answered, "I am sorry the conversation exposed something you wanted private. I did not know about the business. I will not discuss it with anyone else. The piano decision is between you and Mom." He wrote, "That's it?" I answered, "That's what I can answer for." He did not contact me for 3 weeks. During those weeks, I discovered how much of my day had been shaped by anticipation, and how much quiet I had never been allowed to notice. I would pick up my phone at lunch and expect Mom's name. I would hear Daniel say that Sunday looked open, and immediately begin calculating which relative might interpret an invitation as exclusion. I would remember Celia's scanning plan and wonder whether Mom had changed her mind. Each thought came with an impulse to check. I did not check. Not because checking was wrong, but because I knew what would happen. Someone would tell me a feeling about someone else. I would make one small suggestion. That suggestion would travel with my name attached. By dinner, I would once again be standing in the middle of a conversation I had not begun. Mom called on the 4th day. "Are you still coming Saturday?" she asked. "Do you still want me?" There was a pause. "I want help with the kitchen," she said. "Then yes." On Saturday, she handed me a stack of dish towels and pointed to an empty carton. We worked for an hour before either of us mentioned the supper. "Owen says he can come Tuesday," she said. My hand stopped over the carton. "Did he tell you that?" Mom looked at me. "He texted me." "Then Tuesday sounds like his answer." She gave me an irritated look. "You don't have to examine every sentence." "You're right." I folded another towel. That correction mattered too. Refusing to interpret did not require me to become a guard at the border of every word. Mom had answered the question. I could let the conversation continue. "Celia is coming the 2nd Saturday," Mom said. She told me. Did she complain? There it was. "You should ask her." Mom shook her head. "This is exhausting." I think it was always exhausting. I was just doing more of it. She did not reply. We packed the mixing bowls. The move happened in smaller pieces than Mom had planned. There was no family day with matching tasks and sandwiches arranged on the counter. Owen came Tuesday evening and carried 2 bookcases and the heavy cabinet. Celia came Thursday morning to line the apartment shelves. Daniel and I packed the kitchen on Saturday and drove the last carload after lunch. It was less efficient. It was also strangely quiet. Mom asked each of us for specific help. Each of us answered her. Celia took the blue dishes after Mom offered them. Owen received Dad's socket set because he asked for it, and Mom said yes. I accepted the hall mirror, which I had always liked, after Mom asked whether I wanted it. The piano went to the apartment. It fit against the short wall beside the window with 3 inches to spare. Nobody treated that as a verdict. Owen did not lose the piano because I had won. Mom kept it because she had not finished deciding. The albums occupied the bottom shelf of her bedroom closet. On the 2nd Saturday, Celia arrived with a scanner, 2 extension cords, and labels of her own. She and Mom spent 4 hours together. I know that because Celia told me afterward, not because either of them asked me to arrange it. Owen came to the new apartment once during the first month. He fixed a loose handle on the bathroom cabinet and left before I arrived with groceries. Mom said they had talked about the business. I wanted details. The desire embarrassed me. For years, knowing every detail had felt like care. Now I was beginning to see how knowledge itself could become a kind of central seat. "Was it a good talk?" I asked. Mom considered. "It was our talk," she said. I nodded. 2 months after the move, we had our first real relapse. Mom called while I was chopping onions. "Owen thinks Celia copied too many photographs," she said. The old sentence was so familiar that my body leaned toward it. I could already imagine calling Owen, extracting his actual objection, then telling Celia in a way she would accept. I set down the knife. "Did Owen tell you that?" Mom hesitated. "He asked how long she was going to keep doing it." "Did he say she copied too many?" "That was what he meant." "Maybe. You should ask him." "I am asking you. I don't know what he meant." She sighed. "You know him. So do you." We sat in the silence on either end of the call. "Fine," she said. She called him. An hour later, she called me back. "He didn't care how many she copied," Mom said. "He wanted to know when she would reach the box with pictures from his high school." "All right." "I told Celia I had assumed." "How did she take it?" Mom started to answer, then stopped. "You can ask her," she said. There was no triumph in her voice. She sounded tired and slightly amused. "I can," I said. I did not call Celia that night. I finished the onions. Daniel came in and asked whether we had enough rice. The question was so ordinary that I almost missed the gift of answering only what I knew. "Half a bag," I said. Over the next few months, our family did not transform into a circle of perfect honesty. Celia adapted fastest. When she wanted something from Mom, she asked Mom. When she was angry with Owen, she sometimes told me. But she stopped ending with, "What should I say to him?" She began ending with, "You don't have to do anything. I just need to say this once." That was a different kind of closeness. I could listen without becoming a delivery service. Mom changed in fits. Sometimes she called and caught herself halfway through a sentence. "Owen thinks," no, "I think Owen is upset." Or, "Celia told me something, but it is hers to tell you." Those corrections were small. They were also the only kind of proof I trusted. Owen stayed distant. He came to Mom's apartment and spoke with her. He answered Celia's messages when he wanted to. With me, he remained careful and brief. At first, I treated every brief reply as a test I had failed. Then one Sunday, I realized I had gone all morning without wondering whether he was angry. Nothing bad had happened in the space where that worry used to be. Daniel and I walked to the little park beyond our street. We bought coffee from the cart near the fountain and sat on a bench where we could hear a youth soccer game across the grass. My phone remained in my bag. "Do you miss being called?" Daniel asked. "Sometimes." "Do you miss the calls or the job?" I thought about it. "I miss knowing where I belonged." He nodded. "Where do you belong now?" I looked at him. "Here, for one place." It was not a grand answer, and he did not turn it into one. He took my empty cup when he stood and asked if I wanted to walk the long way home. 6 months after the sorting supper, I was in our kitchen cutting carrots when Owen called. I let the phone ring twice before I answered. "Hi," I said. "Did Mom decide what she's doing with the piano?" The old route opened between us, smooth from years of use. I could have told him what I knew. The piano was still beside the window. Mom had played scales one afternoon and complained that it needed tuning. She had mentioned a community center that accepted instruments. She had mentioned Owen's name, too. None of that was an answer. "You should ask her," I said. He breathed out. "I knew you were going to say that." "Then why did you call me?" For a second I thought he would hang up. "Habit," he said. My other line beeped. Mom's name appeared on the screen. "Mom is calling," I told him. "Of course she is." Do you want me to ask her to call you? I heard the offer as soon as I made it. A smaller bridge, but still a bridge. Owen heard it too. No, he said, I'll call her. We ended the call. Mom left no message. I did not call her back immediately. I finished the carrots, slid them into the pan, and washed the knife. 20 minutes later, Owen sent me 3 words. I asked her. I read them once, then I put the phone face down. Daniel came into the kitchen and lifted the lid from the pan. "How was your day?" he asked. For years, that question would have reminded me of everyone else's day first. Mom was anxious, Owen was offended, Celia needed reassurance. That evening, I answered for myself.